So happy Tuesday again to you all. This is officially March 1st, which is the finale of Q1.
Yeah.
And Q1, it flew by. It flew by. It's also Women's History Month, and I am very excited about it. For those of you that may not know who I am, my name is Raquel Shelton Robertson. I am a certified professional life coach. I am a motivational speaker and an author, the author of Dreams Bigger Than Texas and Woosah. And I'm just elated to share this space with another powerful woman. I'm going to let her introduce herself to you. Make sure that you're sharing this live with a couple of friends. The ladies that you know, fellas, you are certainly welcome. But share with your friends. And Keisa, how are you, girl?
Girl, I am doing awesome and amazing, honey. I am so happy to be here with you this evening as well. Long time coming for the both of
It
us.
is. It is.
Yeah, but I am so happy to be here. And I guess you want me to introduce myself since.
Yes, please let the people
So,
know who you are.
yeah, so I am Keisa Campbell. I'm also a certified professional life coach. I really known as like a beauty and life strategist, and I help women of faith to live a more fulfilling life through my 7 pillars of beautiful living. I'm also a motivational speaker and an author, and I'm a mama of 3 girls.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a mama too of 3 beautiful girls, and I do some mentoring as well. So that's pretty much the gist um, of who I am in this space.
Awesome. And a
I'm
mom, that within itself, that is, I'm sure, the most important weighty title
Yeah,
that's there. Hey, Tina, thank you for joining us. I'm going to give a quick shout out to Nikki Powerhouse, Rico Love, Sean, Chris, David. That's Derek, Wilford, DJ Nutty. Make sure you all follow Keisa Campbell. So we are going to really just kind of hop right in. Tonight is more so about celebrating womanhood. We're talking about faith and purpose and womanhood.
yes.
And so we're just going to share a little bit of our wisdom, both as coaches, with you on our perspective on some things, but we really want to hear from you. So drop some comments here, and we will get to those, as best we can. Keisa, do you have something to kind of keep your throat nice and hydrated tonight?
Girl, since you should ask, let me start now.
I have a glass too. Let's start off with a toast, maybe. Can we
Yes,
toast to entering into Women's History Month?
yes,
Yes. So for my brand specifically, I am for the month of March, I am working on history in the making. History in the making is a very important thing to me because I think sometimes when we hear Women's History Month or Black History, we think of all these powerhouses that have gone before us,
hmm,
and we reduce the fact that we have the ability to make history like right now because our conversation tonight will be history tomorrow, right? So if every
yes,
day you're living in an intentional way, you're working on your legacy and doing things that's going to impact and touch people, that is your legacy. That is the history that you're making. So these moments is history in the making. So there's always opportunity to to go down in the book, especially for women during this time of women's history.
yeah. And I don't know that it's celebrated as much as it, or is it, the awareness around what this month is
Mm,
for women. We know because we're in this space, right?
right.
But because we're in this space, it's very important that we bring awareness to how dope women are, right? In every area, not only being mothers but wives. I was that for almost 20 years, and even wearing the hat. So we wear so many hats, being
Yes.
and I said mother and wife and all the other things that people pull on us for. So it's not even just being in the entrepreneur world, but it's just real life,
Yeah.
celebrating us each and every day. March don't even do it no justice.
No justice.
No justice. But we have a month, so let's take it.
We will take that. We'll take that. I think that's really good. You mentioned just all the hats and the power in women being pulled on to be the softer one, the negotiator, the comforter, the wisdom. I heard you mention a while ago that women are the neck, especially when you talk about
Yeah.
marriage. And as a newlywed, you mentioned that the husband can't go anywhere without the neck. And
Without
so just the power in, having a strong woman by your side being a backbone. Um,
Yeah, we are so powerful. And when I was in that space of marriage, I used to have, well, I still in part still talk about the I am movement, of women just wearing many hats, but who are you outside of all these titles?
mm,
But it was one main thing, like you stated, that I've stated before, is that we are the neck, we are the glue, we are the neck. And don't try to be the head, be the neck. Because guess what? The neck is the most powerful thing. You can't turn it.
right,
Right.
right, right.
You
And
turn your head without that neck being in place. So, I just pride myself on just, recognizing that early on. Like I don't have to be that piece. I don't want to be that, right? Allow me just to be the neck, and carry on. But we wear so many hats, and it's very important, like I said before, that we take a step back and recognize as women who we are outside of being a wife, who we are outside of being a mother, who we are outside of being a sister, a daughter, a cousin, a friend. Like, who are you? What are you purposed for? What is it that you are here for outside of those things? Yes, those things, you are purpose. That is purpose in all of those titles. But when we strip the titles, it's like, who are you?
mm, yeah, no, hey, I'm mesmerized because you said a couple things, and I'm like, oh, this could go several ways. Because I think of when you said, I don't want to be the head, that's a whole nother topic with positions and orders and,
Mhm.
the man's role, and the woman's role. So that we'll save that for the next time because,
Right.
that could go into like a whole other thing. But what I hear is identity, right? I hear identity when you say, who are you? If you strip yourself of the titles, because a lot of parents, they get their purpose and their child needing them,
Mhm.
right? That is their purpose to live, but God created them for something bigger. The child is just an addition to what you were created to. And that's a great segue into what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about faith, purpose, and womanhood. Um, and so I know I kind of pivoted to identity because you dropped so many gems from a who are you minus your titles as a woman. So we could kind of flirt with identity and
Yeah.
and faith because I think identity and faith, are kind of
In purpose too, because once you realize what your purpose is, that's where your identity lies, right?
oh come
Because when we
look,
talk about purpose, purpose should drive your everyday.
uh-huh.
Purpose, it should be the reason why you wake up in the morning.
Oh,
So when we talk about identity, until you know that, you go in like on this hamster wheel over and over
yep,
and over and over again. It has nothing to do with faith at that point. We need to identify what it is so that you can have the faith to move forth and go forth and conquer, right?
precisely.
And so, I think, this is such a great time to have it because the climate we're in with COVID and all these other things, and it's like people are, being depressed and down and all of that because they are forgetting about their identity and who they are in Christ, who God has purposed them to be. Take away, like you said, the motherhood, because people with girl, they would sit in that. And I'm like, no,
Yeah,
no, no, we're not going to sit in you being a mother. That is
right. You had a life before you had the baby,
yes,
right?
but you still had another purpose. You was just a vessel to get this child here, because that child has purpose too. So you was
Oh,
a vessel to bring forth another purpose in the world, right? So we're not gonna get caught up in it, because I hear women say, "Well, I'm gonna wait till my child graduate, or I'm gonna wait until this, until why? Tomorrow is not promised to you. Like, no,
awesome.
no. That is purpose. I don't want to overlook and be like, oh, because everybody is not purpose to have kids or children or
Right,
to. So there is
right.
purpose in it, but it doesn't sit there. You are the coach. You are the guide into
Mm,
that child's life. That's it.
yeah,
You are to guide them so that they can go forth and live in purpose as well. But
precisely.
we get caught. Women get caught
Yeah,
in all of that, and it becomes a shadow where we and blinders comes on and we don't
Yeah.
see our purpose.
Yeah, I like that. Christy says the dichotomies of womanhood. We are resilient.
Yeah.
Slick gave us a shout out. Thank you. Hey, Rachel. Thank you for joining. Hey, Shay. Hey, Black Millionaires. Hey, Candace. This is good, Keisha. You just came out the gate like just going at it, coming for necks and snatching edges. I appreciate that. I do want to go back to purpose. When you hear this, you know, the thing that comes to mind for me, of course, as a believer, and then there are audiences out there that may not be a believe, that may not believe, and that's totally, you know, fine. That's their unique walk. But I do know that whether you believe in a higher power, Buddha, whoever, you did not get here by yourself, and you were created with a unique sets of gifts, talents,
Right.
and things that you were called to do. But I know sometimes social media, like you mentioned, COVID, all these other distractive things that could kind of blind you and get in the way for you to absolutely see it. Or again, with social media, it's easy to try to be in someone else's purpose space, right? Because she's
Yes.
doing it, or oh, they're making a quick dollar, or this entrepreneur thing may take off, but there's no passion in it. There is no
Stay in your
authenticity that will come in it. And when you operate in your purpose, it is your unique DNA and ID. Like Keisha and I are both coaches, and we both coach on purpose. You know, we both coach in similar areas, but Keisha has her unique style of how she'll do it. She has her unique group of people that are waiting to hear what she has to offer, and so does Raquel. And
correct.
so we can still coexist in this space because we all have our unique thing that we will give from a purpose standpoint,
Right.
you know? So Keisha, like what would you say to the person that is struggling? Like, how do I identify my purpose? What is my purpose? I don't really know what to do. What would be something that you would say to encourage someone out there?
Well, a few things. Like the first thing is like, I always stem back from passion, right? Um, when have you felt a sense of meaning? Like, what
Mm,
are you doing in your day to day or something that you have done that felt so meaningful
mm,
for you? So for me, I can use myself as an example. I've always been in this space of wanting to encourage, to inspire. I can remember from age 8, I thought it was 12, and my cousin corrected me. She said, "No, girl, you was 8 when you like
okay.
dived into." And they were all older cousins, but for whatever reason, I was the younger cousin that poured into them. And I was they put me in teacher mode where I had to teach and they were the students, but I was the youngest one. I was the youngest, youngest cousin. And I remember one time where my cousin told me we was not going to bed until I taught her how to plait her doll's hair. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And so I was in teacher mode. And that's part of what I do, teaching women to live a fulfilling life. But in turn, I am a licensed hairstylist. Didn't see that coming at 8, but it was something I always was doing. I loved it. It came natural to me. It was one of those things that just came so natural, and I had passion for it, right? And so I started to do it more and more and more as a young kid up until adulthood, and then it became more of a job for me, and then I didn't like it as much. I liked it when I was in the space of being able to do it, when I felt like it as a hobby, as those things. But along the way, even in high school, me encouraging and coaching, I had a coach. I ended up coaching her on some
Wow.
that she was going to have to go into the locker room to get something that I thought I forgot, but God sent me back in that moment.
Intentional.
Yeah, intentional. And she was in the girls' locker room sobbing, just crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? And I sat down with her and coached her. She had just got some news from the doctor. And in that moment, God used me as the vessel to uplift and encourage. And that lady's like, when you get married, I'm going to be at everything. She was at the graduation. She was at my wedding. She was at everything. Like, and still telling people how I like changed her life in that moment. And so
Wow.
something that is a passion of me to be able to sit down and walk through. When somebody's like, I want to do something, my ears perk up because I'm thinking I hear purpose. And so I instantly go into this space of, okay, tell me about that. What
Solution modes. Your strategist, right?
you know, and so it's something that you're passionate about. Like I feel really full when I'm in that space. I feel full now just talking to you because I'm in a space that I feel like is purposeful, right? And so it's like, what is it that you do? What passion, what is it that you've been doing that you felt the sense of meaning, right? And who were you serving during that time?
Ooh.
Who were you serving? Who were you serving? And so those two things is like, what is it that brings me like this joy every time I get to do it? Because people look at purpose as this big grandiose thing, and it's not. It's something that you've been doing the whole
Right,
time.
right, right. It's an innate thing. And I want to acknowledge the St. Croix person from the Virgin Islands is tuned in. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome our fatherless, welcome average Joe. I'm gonna mess up your name. Angie and Glamour SUA. We really appreciate you tuning in. Drop us any questions or comments you have. And there, Keisa has been on fire from the moment we toast, okay? And Keisa is going in. And just to echo you, you are, but just to echo you, you mentioned something where you feel alive. Well, you mentioned something that you feel excited and joy. I like to say, what is that thing that makes you feel most alive?
Yes.
What is it, right, that you would do for free? That just it got you like, oh, I could do like that thing. Those are great indicators of what your purpose looks like, and you have it. You have it now. I will say this is the downside of operating a purpose sometimes.
Right.
It ain't always going to make the money that you want, but it's going to be fulfilling because it satisfies that itch, that thing. It's going to be fulfilling.
And you can think about impact, as you're doing these things. It's like, you may, like, to your point, you may not, but when you're doing this thing, like me, I can sit up here and coach and want to sit here, be like, honey, come over here and let's sit and for free, because I've done it for years. I did that. I was in that space, right? I was
right
in that space and didn't care. It wasn't about the money as much as it was about the person getting to where they were supposed to get to.
That's it.
And so, and then you start thinking about the impact. So for me, I saw the impact of the women that I was assigned to in that moment. I saw the impact. And so he was like, wait a minute, I may be on to something. I enjoy doing this.
Mm.
I ain't even thinking about the money piece. I'm feeling fulfilled. It brings me joy.
Changing lives.
Changing lives, that's the impact.
Yes. Hey,
and then,
I see
together, right, and then come up with a statement like, come bring it all together. That's your portion. That's your magic portion.
Oh, I'm reading some. Can you see these comments, Keisa?
Wait a minute. Let me see. Can I see it? Oh,
so there was one comment that mentioned, talk about how we got started as coaches and building clientele.
Okay.
And then another, which is very sweet. I don't know which former student of mine this could be, because they call me Miss Shelton. So I used to mentor and teach and coach on the south side of Chicago for years in high schools, and I loved it. So you've impacted my life. You drop your name, because these Instagram names, it's hard to know who's who.
Yeah, I see.
So I thank you. But the coaching piece, so I do want to make sure we answer that question. How to get started. I could share a little bit of mine. Oh, funny story about Keisa and I. Speaking about coaching, purpose. So here's some funny. We both were in, let me give my side, and we'll make it quick.
Okay.
And then you give your side. So it's funny how they collide. So same thing, Jovan. Hey, Jovan, I love you. I love you. So because I get ignited with serving and inspiring people, and I've always been a solutionist, the friend people call because I know someone that knows someone, I can help you figure it out. I got the answer. It was placed on my heart early this time last year, I believe, to pursue the coaching again. And I've been coaching for years, just, in many facets. So I decided to get a certification. I'm in a certification coaching program, right? And this is, it's so many programs out there. I'm in this program. It's people from all countries on this call. Like, it's people from everywhere in this coaching program. And so, of course, you see your classmates or whatever. It's a 3-day power camp. And so my eyes keep going down to this young lady in the class. She had the glasses on, a red lip. I'm like, oh, she cute. And sometimes sisters, as we do, we give honor and we recognize when someone is, moving and grooving. And so, long story short, I found out that she not only lives in the United States, but in Georgia, and then in Atlanta, right? We got people from Africa, London, everywhere on this call, and we were the only two from Georgia or Atlanta on the call on the
So, yeah, I think so.
yeah.
Hmm.
So talk about purpose alignment in a small world. We're
Yeah.
in the same program. We're both in the same city, right? And then here's the kicker. I go into work the next morning. I'm coming from the parking lot, and this woman is walking behind me in a red suit. It's Keisa. We work at the same job. What? And our birthdays are like 2 days apart.
Yep.
Did
And
I say that? I'm sorry. I keep doing it. And so it's go ahead.
I said, and the same church.
And the same church. What? So I know I gave it all away. What's your side of this? Do you got something else to add?
Well, no, it was, I know that it was a divine connection. You know, we talk divine connection is a whole nother, yeah, that's a God thing. Absolutely. Because before we even got on here, when I was waiting to come on here with you, like I always go into prayer. And one of the things I was like, Lord, I know this is divine because the birthday thing and the how everything was aligned. And to your point, I kept being drawn to you in class. Like you, I was like, oh, her hair cute. She got them cute glasses. Like she asked some good questions, and and so for me, I actually this is how I know it was a God thing because I've been certified for umpteen years, like, since like 2014, 2015, one of those two, I had to look at my certification. And so, and with me, God, I didn't even know it was a such thing as life coaching during that time. I was seeking my purpose and I cried out to God and I said, Lord, you got to tell me what it is that I got to be doing because I don't need another waking moment walking through here on this earth purposeless. I can't. Like, I literally, y'all, I'm telling y'all, this is a true story. I cried out. The next morning, God had an answer. He said, life coach. And I said, what is that? Had never even heard of it. And so, of course, Google is my friend. So I read Google and I was like, yo,
Mine too.
life coach is a thing. But how I get started? And so, and then I got discouraged because I joined the life coaching class and it was a free trial. And I signed up to be the test coach. And it didn't go well. She just like went in on me. It's like, why did you respond to her that way? This and this. And I was like, well, that's why I'm in the class. I'm trying to learn. So I clearly told God he had made the wrong mistake. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing. That I was not equipped for that, and I wasn't doing it. And I was just not. I'm just gonna go back and get my master's in the psychology and counseling and just call it a day. And he's like, I said what I said, basically. And so I had to revisit it because it kept being on my heart. And then I got certified. So when I met you, I actually was supposed to be in the class like a couple of weeks before you, but somebody wanted to take a girls trip. And
Okay.
let's move this to another day. But it was meant for me to move it so I can meet you.
Oh wow.
Talk about divine connection and how we both were drawn to one another, just drawn to one another in that moment. And like you said, I was like, okay, but I actually thought you was in another state. So I didn't even realize you was in Georgia. So in my mind, I thought you said North Carolina. And I was just like, let me inbox her and tell her that we have to stay connected somehow, whatever. I can fly. So I'll fly to her if I need to. And that's
Right.
fine. Like, I knew that we needed to be connected. And so then I was like, wait a minute, shit. I was like, where are you at? You like, Georgia? Oh, all right now. And so that's how it is. And we've been really connected ever since. We've been talking ever since.
We have. And
Yeah.
it's funny, it kind of I was telling my husband, I was like, well, I gotta date her a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? You build connections. And I've been talking in my stories a lot about women not being afraid to partner with
Yeah.
other women, especially in the spirit of Women's History Month. Because of course, the older you get, sometimes it's harder, like, I don't really know them. You get guarded, but you could very well miss your blessing or opportunity to serve someone else when you're too closed off, right? So at least being open to potential partnerships and strategic ones.
Yes.
Strategic ones. So crazy story. That's how we met. Speaking of purpose, so just to recap, identifying the thing that makes you feel most alive.
Yes.
Keisha mentioned something really great about, what would you do that's exciting, even if it's for free. We talked about that downside of sometimes purpose is not the money maker, but it is that fulfilling thing that's going to bring about joy. So that's pretty much, the way with purpose. And because we're both purpose coaches,
Yeah.
you could chat with us one-on-one at any time to help you get started. I know for the month of April, I'm going to be doing a purpose course for free and some giveaways and series. And I know, Keisa, you're doing some stuff on purpose soon.
Yeah, we are. I am. And so the same thing, doing some stuff on purpose. I actually have a workbook that I'll be teaching from, a part of it,
Okay.
and such. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. And I'm sure there'll be some other collaborations between the two of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we touched on purpose a bit. If there's anyone that have anything about purpose you want to dive in, drop it in the chat just to make sure I don't miss the person who asked about it. There are tons of coaching certifications out there. I think it is a great way to gain skill and knowledge, even let's say if coaching is not your thing, but just have a better understanding in your relationships with your children, with your partner, with your husband, your boo, your bae, or just your family, your friends. The techniques that are taught in the coaching certification is uncanny. So you could Google certifications, just make sure that they are approved by the
International Coaching Federation.
Yeah, come on. The ICF. Make
Yeah.
sure they're owned by that.
Yeah.
Anything else may try to take your money. So we don't want to spend too much time on that, but that's our piece on the coaching. So let's dive into faith. I know we kind of touched on it. You sound like a tremendous woman of faith, praying and being intentional about your relationships. What would be like your words to live by as it relates to faith as we think about Women's History Month?
Yeah, so for me, definitely faith is the very unseen, okay? You got to stamp that in your head. You cannot see. It's like, I'm going to tell you something. This faith journey is, whoo, faith is unseen. And I always like to say, when you have a vision in your head that you just cannot let go of, that's usually something that God is putting on your mind. Do not lose sight of that because of what it looks like in the natural. Faith, the unnatural. You cannot see it in the current. You can visualize it. You can see it in your mind, but you have to stand on that thing like it's already here, it's already done, it's already come to pass. And when I on those things, that's faith for me. Standing on, I know I can achieve it because God put it in my on my heart. And I just got to keep moving forth. And what it looks like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I know it's going to happen because I'm not letting go. You may have to change and turn left on this street, but never losing sight of what the end goal is. Straight, you may have to make another pivot, but never sight on what the end goal is. And that's walking by faith. It's the true unseen thing. And it's like taking God and saying, this is what I'm expecting out of this. Like, this is that's on my heart. And I know this has to be from you. So this is what I'm expecting out of this. I can't see it. That mustard seed. Sometimes the other day I said, Lord, I don't even know if the faith is as small as the mustard seed. It may be smaller than that. I don't even know if you can get smaller than the mustard seed.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing, faith is like Wi-Fi, right? We can't see it, but we know once we connect to it, we're going to get some service, right? We're going to be able to use our laptops and our internet. I think that's really good. You mentioned just trusting in that. So I like to liken faith to manifestation, right? We're in this space, I'm manifesting this, I'm manifesting that. And for me, manifestation is really faith. It is your action meeting your belief. You have to believe in a thing, whether you believe that you're going to make it home safely from your drive, whether you believe you're going to get this job, whether you believe we have faith in Bank of America depositing our checks, right? Because your money will be in your account because you don't work and it's going to happen. So that same faith we have in other things just naturally happening, that's the faith we have to execute in what we believe and what was placed on our heart, like Keisa said. So for me, faith is manifesting. It's your action. I am taking these steps. I am saving up my money because I want to buy a house. I don't see the house. I don't know where it's going to be, but I have faith that if I save and do what I need to do and take the steps forward, the rest will just kind of come into play how it's supposed to come into play.
So
Is that
yeah,
about right?
yeah, because what you're saying is preparation, right? So
Yeah.
having wanting that house and having faith, but you ain't worked on your credit, you ain't saved no money, you ain't did any of those things, and then you're like, Lord, I mean, why I ain't got this house? But what have you done? Because it's still preparation. Faith without works is dead. It's the work.
Right.
It's the work
Right.
you're putting
Right.
in. So even
Right.
thing, I I have this house in my mind that I visualize. Yeah, I'm telling you, I feel like I'm getting closer and closer. It's
Okay.
not changed. The outside of it has not changed. The kitchen has not changed. It's in here. And so it's like, what is it that I'm doing to prepare for that, right? First of all, I'm not losing sight of it. It's in my heart, right? Then I'm showing up in purpose to do what I'm called to do so that I can make room and make way to reach that goal.
Mm.
And so that's the thing.
That's so good. You said make room and make
Mm-hmm.
way,
Mm-hmm.
and then you talked about preparation. So I think sometimes we have our hands filled with so many other things that we just our attention is diverted with this, but we haven't made room to receive
Mm-hmm.
what we are believing for. So I always like to challenge people to make an assessment. What are you doing in your life that's working, and what are you not doing that could get you closer to where you need to be? And I hear you speak about faith and action. So it sounds like for those that may not be biblical or don't know what the word said about faith, faith without works is dead. That essentially speaks to you can't have faith in something but not put the work in necessary. So again, with manifestation, that's action mirroring your belief. That's how you manifest a thing. You show up every day with the belief that it's going to happen, and you're putting the steps in necessary. You're doing your part. The rest is up to God to make it come to pass, if that's for you. And even if it doesn't come to pass right away, it may not be time, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes things are seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that we're waiting for and believing, like, yo, when is it my turn? When is this going to happen? When it's going to happen? There is preparation that's happening, or your faith has to be, you got to increase it more. You can't say, I believe, I believe, and not putting any work in because you're not really trying to go anywhere.
Well, and even to that, sometimes it's not a no, and you could be doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. You could be putting in the work, but God knows if He give it to you prematurely.
Prematurely, you can't handle it. We've been talking about that in my household.
Yeah.
It's like the wilderness is this space where you like, okay, Lord, I believe I'm supposed to start this business. I think I'm doing this, but it's like a waiting period. And in that waiting period, your character is being cultivated,
Right.
because you wouldn't give your 5-year-old keys to the car. They've got to be groomed and learn how to drive and go through these processes. And then it happens. So sometimes we do, I agree with you, Keisa, we want something so bad, but there's a cultivation that has to happen in our character so that way we don't embarrass ourselves once we get what we're supposed to get. If
Yeah.
I'm still struggling with cursing people out or being ungrateful or being nasty or whatever the case may be, and then voila, I'm a New York Times bestseller, and then I'm in an interview and someone upset me in my interview, and then I'm potty mouth, or I am still demonstrating those things that this waiting period and exercising faith is supposed to pull out of me,
Right.
then it's too premature, right? And
Yeah.
then you're not ready for it as bad as you want it. And because God loves us too much, He's not going to give us something that we're not ready for.
Right. And I'm gonna circle back to an example that you use. Like you said, I wouldn't give your 5-year-old, you wouldn't give your 5-year-old your keys, right? But instead, you would give your 5-year-old the little Barbie car to prepare her. So it may not be the keys to my Jeep, but I'm gonna give you something else that you can.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you something else that you can play around in and experience and feel and whatever. And then you get a feel for this and you're like, oh, I want more. And then you prepare and and you
And
go,
your confidence builds.
yes, yes. So I thought about that scenario because, you know, we I have given my now 17-year-old, my baby girl, she got the Barbie truck. And and so when I'm out in my, watching mine, she out there with hers, and it was teaching her responsibility, and it was teaching her how to take care of it. It was teaching her, I even
Mm.
made her a fake license with her thing and put all of it that she couldn't leave out the house. She would grab her purse and grab her license and put it on, put it on a passenger side.
Oh, wow.
I did all the things that she would do naturally if she had her real vehicle. Like when she opened it up, I gave her a wallet. I put a license laminated with her picture on it, with her name. I did all of that. Gave it all to her. And so then she got in her little pink little Escalade little thing. She was ready. And so teaching her how to appreciate and grow confidence and all those things. It was still learning at that age. And so sometimes we want things when we want it. And that's why I said you have to keep moving forth and believe that, Lord, I know you heard me and I know it's on my heart. So for me to, I got to keep moving forward. First of all, you want to see if I'm going to waver, because I didn't get it when I wanted it.
That's it.
That's still faith, right? Because I ain't get it or get it. I don't forget it. I knew this one might happen. Then where's your faith, my child?
Right.
And then you want to make sure even when it's good and I still don't have it, what is it going to be with me and you?
Right. Right.
Now,
yeah.
And all of it is like, Lord, Lord, don't be testing me, because I don't need to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then also the impurity sometime of jealousy, or sometime the impurities of when someone else that's in your block got it, and it's like, I didn't, what about me? And it's like learning how to celebrate the other individuals that are doing things that, because he's paying attention to those things too. Those are character defining moments, because everything is not about you. Because at the same time, that person that may have gotten it before you, he could potentially use to turn around and make the phone call to you. But because you wasn't, you didn't know how to really celebrate the excitement for them, you just reveal your character. So I see Rachel put in patience. About Tina put that smart. Hey, money magnet, TJ. So yeah, these are very critical things as we're talking about faith. I know we kind of dipped into the wilderness, but that's a good thing, because faith and the wilderness oftentimes go hand in hand, because you can't see it. You can't see this thing that you believe in. But you have to trust it and continue to walk with it.
And something else you said was like, you said that it's not about you. Purpose, what he got us to do, it ain't about us.
Right.
And so when people realize that piece, like, it's not about me, it's not about you. It's about showing up and being a vessel for what God do. And so I always talk about, even when we're going through things in life, you are still the tool that he's using to be the testimony to help the next person. So you have to get out of like this woe me thing. You like, Lord, this ain't all about me. I need to learn whatever lesson, if it's a lesson to be learned, but it's greater than just me in this moment. It's about the kingdom work. So some of this purpose and faith and all of this is about the kingdom work. It's about his glory. It's about all of that beautiful thing that's woven together to make us who we are.
Yeah. And community. And yeah, community, like working together. Like the goal is, it should be, to leave the place, someone's presence, better than you found it, right? You want to make impact and leave a legacy, whether that is feeding the homeless. Even if you don't feed the homeless, maybe you write books, maybe you make reels on a day-to-day. Your reels are really lit and you provoke thought in people. That is what that's what it's about. Just kind of leaving something, a mark that's going to make an impact. You don't want to live a life that's just dull and selfish. Like, there are no islands. Everybody got to where they got because of someone else, and being in community, and being connected, which is why it is so important, to partner at times with women history and things of that sort. So, Keisa, we've talked about women's history. We've talked about faith. We've talked about purpose. I don't see any questions in here, but please chime in if you all have some thoughts, if you kind of want to have us address something, we are here for that.
Yeah.
The next topic that we're going to probably spend a little bit more time on is womanhood. Womanhood. And that could go a couple different ways. Womanhood, just the power and the beauty in it. You know, we're celebrating Women's History Month. So we want to certainly talk about the impacts that great women, the impacts that great women like yourself that are watching and that's on here that are making. So when you hear the word womanhood, give me like three adjectives that come to mind.
Ooh, girl. First of all, powerful,
Ugh,
resiliency, and those two really is like the
top two.
yeah, that was like the top because like we remember I said we was the neck already. That's power.
Ooh,
Resiliency, from even birthing kids. Everybody don't make it. You know what I'm saying? And from all the childhood stuff and all the hurts and the stuff that we carry, that we endure, all of those things to me is like resilient.
yeah,
you know, um, one more would be,
brilliant. I see Candace said brilliant.
yep,
I
real.
love it. Thank you,
Yeah,
Candace.
yeah, we are some brilliant.
So I love that you said resilience. That's one of my favorite words, and that's a coaching area that's near and dear to me.
Hmm.
When I think of womanhood, I think of life. I think of Eve. I think of evolution. I think of, us being a portal because people can't really get here unless they come through a woman. And just the power that we have with life. Men, they're cool or whatever. We need them, we want them, you know. But we are a lot of times the one behind the show. I'm trying to see if my husband is gonna peek out and look at me or what I'm saying, but we're the ones behind the scenes really just operating in a space and making the decisions. Women put the finesse, just like the ooh,
Right.
we make it better. So yeah, certainly resilience, power.
Power.
Being a woman to me is a privilege. For years, I thought I had funny feelings about it because some of the women in my life I've seen got walked over,
Hmm.
right? And I used to be like, I hate we hold up the world. Come on, love to pieces, me.
Hey,
That's what she said. We hold up the world, and we do.
look,
Some of the women in my life, I saw times where they got walked over. So I used to, when I was younger, resent like I hate being a woman. I feel so soft. Or people saying women are emotional, or it's the weaker, less dominant force with the man. And so I saw that as a negative thing growing up. It wasn't until I started coming into my own womanhood and voice and recognizing my own power that I saw it as a space of power, and just as a necessary, uh, vital. It's vital. Again, we're the portal. We're life breathes through us. So womanhood for me is certainly life. It's evolution. It is power. It's resilience.
and I like that you said we are the portal.
Yeah.
That is everything. That is everything. Love to pieces. Eliza, said we hold up the world, and Candace saying brilliant, and unbalanced says self-love and appreciation. And so we are all of that. When Beyonce said, "Who runs the world? Girls," that was like truth, a lot of truth to that. And I think a lot of times that we don't operate in our power, in our brilliancy, we because of maybe childhood trauma, your upbringing, and so you feel belittled even as
Yeah.
an adult, even when it comes to being in the presence of another woman. It don't necessarily have to even be from a space of a male, and
Right.
and we don't take and own and stand in our own soul and plant
Mm,
feet and say, I am who I am.
mm,
I am who I am. because of whose I belong to. The world has shaped us to, think down on ourselves, even when it comes down to, from all the way back, where we couldn't make the same amount of money. We couldn't be in the same jobs. We couldn't, we can only do certain things because we were women. And
Yeah.
thank God for evolution,
Right.
and how things have evolved, that you're only in that space because of your mindset.
I was just gonna say, because you choose to be,
Mm-hmm.
right? The playing field,
Mm-hmm.
it it is even, but I mean it's working to become even, but we do live in a male-dominated, egotistical society that then also adds to the women inferiority of how we see ourselves because, she's just a woman. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She can't negotiate a deal or whatever those cases may
Right.
be. And my advice, and I would love to hear something that you would encourage women with, is standing in your authenticity. You have an equal voice, right? We put on our pants the same way, you know, from a marital standpoint, that's a different thing with the man kind of leading and providing and protecting, and the woman being the nurturer. But on a day-to-day function, do you and allow your light to shine because he's giving you something. You have something so great and unique. And we're called to shine. We're called to create. Even in a society and culture, sometimes that diminishes us to um, sometimes being over sexualized or just really not respected. You do you, and doing you allows that light to shine. We don't have to go out of our way to try to earn someone's respect. Just your essence and operating as a woman that is making moves and that's considering her future and um, the legacy that she's leaving behind by the intentional decisions that she's making on a day-to-day basis.
And that's good because what you're saying, it all points back to identity.
Yep.
It all points back to your identity and who are you,
Mm,
how you see yourself. How do you
that's good.
in the mirror? Like when you look at the reflection, what are you saying about yourself? Like today, I did a self-reflecting exercise today. Just
Nice.
do a self-reflecting, and like you are where you are, okay. And I was self-reflecting. It brought up some. Okay, that makes sense. But when we look at ourselves in the mirror, sometimes people don't want to do self-reflecting so that they can show up as the woman that they are because of all of the other stuff that they see.
Mm,
Back to the identity piece of
yeah,
they, who are you? And so one
right.
thing I would say to every woman under the sound of my voice is to ask yourself tonight, look in the mirror and say, who am I? And sit with that.
And who do you want to
And
be?
who do,
Because I think sometimes
yeah,
if they bought into the lie of I'm not good enough, I'm overweight, we all could probably work on losing a
well,
couple. I know I'm working on losing a couple, right?
right.
It's gonna be how it is until you decide to do something about it. So even with that, not accepting who you may believe you are, I'm actually reading a lot of Brene Brown right now, and she talks about letting go of who you think you are to embrace the life that you were created to live. So I love that. Ask yourself, who am I? But also, who do you want to be?
Well, yeah,
Because you don't need a New Year's Eve. You don't need another time to start over like any moment. You don't
and
have to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago, right? You could do something about it. I don't like the result I'm getting in this area. You know, I don't like these extra pounds. Like, what are we gonna do about it? I want a better job. What are we gonna do about it? So that's certainly a choice. It's
yeah,
thinking about also who do you want to be
mm-hmm,
and how could you take steps to become her? Because she's waiting on you.
right.
She is waiting on you.
Yeah, and to your point, it's like when I do those self-reflections or when I say, who am I speak to the person that I want to be. So I am powerful. I am
Okay.
brilliant. I am, the head and not the tail. Like those, even if I don't feel that way in that moment, that's who I say I am. And
Oh, I love it.
another thing that I would say to the women under the sound of my voice is try, I love affirmations and, you know, when they out of sight, they out of mind a lot of times. And so one of the things that I have prided myself on, like I write them things on the bathroom mirror. So
Yes.
teeth, you get to affirm yourself, but you still seeing it. You making a, and it's, you visit the bathroom kind of often, so it's
Right.
face to, and it's the mirror. So as we start
Right.
reflecting, you can look in the mirror and speak to yourself. And another thing that I've done was record myself telling myself who I am. And at nighttime, when I'm needing to go to sleep, instead of me not always listening to the rain music, honey, I will hit play on my recorder and have that thing on loop. And I'm
I can't.
just trying to, instead of telling me. So when I wake up the next morning and I put on this red lip and curl this blonde hair and put them pumps on, babe, I'm operating in all of what I just heard the night before. Okay.
Listen, wait. So if you all did not hear how we met, you have to go back and listen to the top of this. But I'm laughing because I have tons of videos of me talking to the future me. So I'm always thinking about what is the 40-year-old Raquel gonna feel like? What are you doing right now that's gonna set her up for success?
Yeah.
So right, consider it, give yourself 10 years. You know how even people say, what would you say to the younger you? Whatever you would say to the younger you can say that right now, right? Because you could address the future you. And I love that. I have tons of videos where I am giving myself these little messages. So when I need a pep talk, I play that video and then I get myself together like really quick.
Yeah.
You talked about affirmations, and sometimes they are out of sight, out of mind. My thoughts with affirmations is they're seeds for success, right? So when you plant them and water them frequently, a harvest of positive beliefs and changes in behaviors has to happen. Because if you can psych yourself out and really believe, when you believe a thing, your body and your actions and all of that follows what you believe. If you believe you are a millionaire, my sister likes to say, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. She's walking around here acting like a millionaire. If you believe you are successful, if you believe you're healed, if you believe you are royal, you know, your
All of,
actions are going to line up with it.
yes, I'm telling you. And I think, and that's why I said, you know, writing them out on, you know, on your mirror. And I only said the mirror because it's something to self-reflect. And you in the bathroom, like, girl, I got so bad at one point that even my lampshade became the carousel. Okay, it had Post-it, so anytime I spent it, honey, where it landed, I was able to read and affirm myself
Wow.
and keep going. And so you have to do whatever you need to do in that season to get you to where your next is. And, you know, being able to, because I'm telling you, honey, I'll be walking out of here thinking I'm a million plus on any given day.
Okay, it just got to catch up to our account. That's
Yeah.
the Wi-Fi. That's the fake part. So you showing up for your actions in. You don't see it yet, but it's on the way.
That's the phase
Okay,
right there. That's that phase.
right. Yes, I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
am here for it. So Keisa, I see that we got 5 minutes. This don't even feel like it's been an hour, but it has.
Right.
And this has been good. We may have to do this again, you
So,
know, in the month of March, and maybe pick some topics that you all would love to hear us kind of dive into. That is Tina. That's Tina down there with the money, with the wings. I'm here for it. There's Rachel. She is a millionaire.
right.
I love this. I love all of this. And we thank you all for tuning in. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to stick around with us, and we are grateful and appreciative of that. If you have not followed Mrs. Keisa, please follow her. She is an amazing coach, beauty consultant. She was Miss Georgia. She's into pageantry, you know, consulting people on how to get their physical appearances together. And you didn't even mention beautiful living,
Yeah, a little bit at the
did
top
you?
of that, helping women live a
Okay, okay. So
yeah.
her brand is beautiful living. You know how it's easier
Yeah.
to pump
That's,
somebody else up or to talk about their brand.
yeah.
Sometimes it's just like that. So this has been really good. We
Yeah.
appreciate you all. We love you. We've enjoyed this. Keisa, do you have any final words before we kind of wrap up here? Thank you, Candace.
Thank you, Candace. Hey, girl. Hey. Well, you know, mainly just you know that you are beautiful. You are awesome and amazing. You can accomplish any and everything truly what you put your mind to. You may need some help because God built us for community and he did not design it for you to do it alone. Reach out and ask for help. And, I think that just showing up for yourself tonight, this is something just to hear us talk about faith, purpose, and womanhood, right? You pat yourself on the back for even that. But, just continue to just move forward. Don't give up on anything. Raquel and I are both here um, to assist in any way that we can along your journeys. And just know that you are loved. If nobody told you today, I love you. I have a heart for people, and I absolutely love you. And there's beautiful living waiting on the other side of whatever it is that you are enduring now. Do not turn back around. Keep moving forward, even through the fogginess of what it looks like. Just keep moving forward and know that beautiful living awaits you on the other side.
I love it, Keisa. And my final words or thoughts is really I'm echoing everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes the keep going, those statements, sometimes people need like a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And just to add that little bit more is, it's up to you. It's really up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Where you are in your life is indicative of the choices that you have or you haven't made, right? You either need to stop doing something or do more of something. And it's a choice. It's a choice. And Keisha doesn't have to know you to love you,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can love who you're created to be. And it's important for you as a woman to do everything you can to finally meet her. So know that you were created for a purpose and that the world is waiting for you to be unapologetically who you are, because your story and you stepping into who you're called to be can certainly inspire someone else and free them into what they're created to do. So that's my little 35 cent.
Yeah,
Okay.
girl, I love all of it. One more thing I would add, you are looking at a teen mom sitting over here, okay? So if I can make it through all the statistics saying that I won't graduate on time, which I did, and go to college and finish, graduated summa cum laude of my class, which I did, which they said I wouldn't, you can do it. You can do it. So like she said, indicative, what you're not doing or something that you have. Your past does not have to define your destiny. It does not have to define. It's up to you. It's up
I
to
love it. We're going to leave it right there.
you.
And next time we're going to lead off with you got to tell your story, period.
Okay.
Like you can't just end it at the end like a cliffhanger of to be continued, but we will pick up soon, you all. So thank you so much for your time and your attention tonight. We
Yeah.
wish you well. Have a great rest of your week. And all love, Keisha. I will see you later, girl.
Love you, girl.
All right. Love you too. Bye.
Thanks for joining.